we're looking at here is the #1 Storm player in Marvel Rivals. They mastered Storm, and now Storm is meta in Season 1, so we're going to be taking a look at one of their games to break down exactly how they play Storm. And I think this video in particular will be very useful because Storm has a playstyle that a lot of people don't quite understand. The positioning of this player is very important. How they play and where they position themselves is part of the reason why they're super successful. So we're going to take a look and very carefully kind of break down how they're playing amongst their team, and learning from this will mean we can also play Storm better ourselves. Now I'll put a link to this creator's stuff in the description, of course. So as we get into this, let's just realize that Storm is really good because she's had a massive damage buff now, and her ultimate was always really good in the past, but now that she's got the damage buff for her attacks, it makes it really viable to play her. So for those that don't know, Storm's attacks will pierce through all targets and will essentially deal damage to everyone in the path of that attack. So multiple targets with one attack. Storm can also empower her abilities to do more damage, and everyone in the radius of her, so you can see this blue circle right now and the numbers on the screen, whoever's in the radius of it will also be empowered. She can choose to empower movement or damage. So they portaled in the back line. Let's see how Storm plays. Let's look at her positioning here. She's playing. This is a really, by the way, I have to stop this here. This is a really good way to play flying characters, by the way. It's the head peek here, where she's out of line of sight, but when she wants to attack, she can peek up and shoot and then go back down, right? So this is a really smart way to play flying characters, and I don't see many people doing it. So she's activated her E. What that will do is, okay, that was a really, sorry, we have to break this down. This is really high level stuff. So I just have to explain this. Her E or shift will change between movement mode and more damage mode. Okay, so most of the time she's going to be in more damage mode. It empowers her attacks and empowers her nearby teammates' attacks. But if she switches to movement mode, she will get movement. Look at how as soon as she's going to move and stops attacking, she will temporarily switch to movement mode. And then, right, here's the switch, ready? She switches to movement mode, and then switches back to damage mode. So every time she wants to move, even if it's for a tiny little bit of second, she just did it there again. Now she's back to attack mode, right? If she's looking to reposition, she will quickly press that shift to change her mode, to just get there a little bit quicker. Right, so that's quite an interesting thing. Now let's take a look at how she is playing this. She's on the defending team. She's playing the back line with her team. So the important thing with Storm is you're not flying around all over the place, right? Because your buffs are based on, or your attack is based on how many targets it will pierce, you don't want to be flying into the sky. You want to be on the same level as them, so that when you attack them, it will pierce multiple targets. Right, here comes her ultimate. So you can reposition like a Jeff ult. She targets the supports in the back line. So one of the greatest things about this ult is it is a really strong way to shut down squishies. So she targets the support. Unfortunately, she does die there. So, yeah, she is basically positioning herself so that she's in line with the enemies, so that when she attacks it, the attacks will pierce through multiple targets. The second thing is she's always around her team. The more she flies into the air, the less her radius will reach her teammates, and her buff will not reach her teammates. So she goes into this area with her movement buff. She's now gone into damage mode. Trying to peel for the Psylocke. Put pressure on there. Maybe we can try and sneak a kill in. Psylocke's pretty low in health. She's hugging this wall here. This is one of the few times you can actually get height with a flying character without risking too much, right? She's peeking the wall. So she's only peeking when she's dealing damage and going back behind cover. So that's pretty smart. So she's going up and down vertically along the wall and making sure that she does not overextend or stay out in the open too much, right? She's always got her cover to her left side so that she could peek from the right. It's typical stuff that you'd always do, but when people play flying characters, they just fly all over the place instead of thinking about the way they appear to other characters. Now this is a really smart way as well Look at how she's angled here. What we're looking at here is a decline, right? It's going downhill. Now, if she goes onto the ground like this and fires, her attacks are just going to go like this. But she has positioned herself to be perpendicular with the way the slope goes up, so that her attacks will go down towards the enemies and hit everyone in its path. So pay close attention to this. Ready? She goes up so that she's angled herself to be able to attack multiple players down the slope. This is a really cool way of using her piercing passive ability. That is also a nice, good use of her flying. The way that she can get an angle on height there, a little bit more fluidly than you could if you're on the ground, but always remaining in cover when she needs to, right? She's always got that cover so that she's not going to be out in the open and an easy target. Trying to put pressure on the... Okay, here's another ult play. Goes straight into the back lines to clean up the support. So that seems to be the absolute play that she's going for. And that does seem to be the smartest way to use the ultimate, because you can't tell where the Storm repositions when she activates it. Much like with the Jeff the Shark ultimate. So she repositions and tries to kill the supports in the backline. Now, two things will usually happen when this happens. Either the support will be forced to use their ultimate, which is useful, or they'll die, which is also useful. So you're either like forcing out support ults, or you're killing them, right? She's just activated her E ability, which increases her damage on her attacks. Nice pick on the Hawkeye. Now she's just repositioned, so she's using her movement ability again. Oh, got hit by that, unfortunately. You gotta remember, everyone on the enemy team is also very good at the game, so this is not gonna be an easy fight, you know? That's a funny look at her, dying there. So, yeah, so far she's switching very fluidly between movement and attack when necessary. A nice pick on the Winter Soldier there. It only has a range of like about 20 meters, so she needs to make sure that she's close enough. Her positioning here is really smart. She's positioning in a way so that she can peek and shoot down this bottleneck and hit as many targets as she can without exposing herself too much. And another good thing with the E ability is every enemy in the radius, when it's on damage mode, will take damage periodically. So it's a nice way to deal damage across multiple targets. And when you first activate it as well, it'll do damage too. So sorry if there's been just a massive amount of information just coming out all at once. I'm just trying to explain things as best as I can. So she's got her ultimate ready. Let's see what she does here. I think it's really smart what she's doing. A lot of people just don't realize that you could actually damage the Storm. She does have a lot of health, but as you can see there, you can kill her and shut down the ultimate. And actually, she will just die. She won't be taken out of the ult like Hela. She will immediately die. So we've got a nice bottleneck here. She's peeking, doing damage, and going back behind cover. The amount of time she stays out of cover here is extremely limited. She's making sure... Oh, here comes her ult. And there you go. So in that case, the support had her ultimate. So yeah, that's one of the two things that will happen. You'll get the kills on the support, or you'll force out their ults. So it's really, really good. That Luna probably would have wanted to keep that for the very end. I think it's just really, really efficient the way that this player is just playing cover, you know? Shooting, going behind cover. Shooting, going behind cover. In fact, she's hard. Like, a lot of people say playing flying legend characters is, like, really bad because you just get shot out of the sky. But when you understand how to effectively peek in and out of cover, you are actually harder to hit than even a target on the ground, because you can play around cover in more unique ways. You can always hug cover on your left, peek from the right, and be very fluid with it, and you can see it in action here. So what you just saw there was the right click ability, the secondary attack. It is a hit scan ability that does a nice burst of damage, and it goes further than the normal attack range. So it's a nice thing to pick off low health targets. Really nice to see there. Just holding this angle. I think that is just about in range there, her attacks. So what's really interesting is she's just constantly backing up and holding the same cover, really. You know, She obviously knows which cover works to get the best angles here. So, you know, it's important. She's not flying out in the open. She's always hugging cover. There comes her ult again. Focusing the squishies, getting that DPS. Didn't actually get the duelist there. I think they went into Cloak's ability to be protected there, unfortunately. So she did get shut down. But so far, we're looking at 19 eliminations, 11 final hits. So, you know, doing a lot of work. But we know this is just the start. Looks like they've got a nice ult spam on the enemy team here. So I'm going, yeah, we know that the score will be sending them into overtime. Once again, though, look, like this, she can't be hit. She can hardly be hit. She's perfectly leaving cover in between her attack speed, right? She can only fire so many attacks per second, and she peaks when she can fire, and then in between the time that she's unable to shoot, she's back behind cover. Out, shoot. Waiting in cover for the next chance for her to shoot again, out again. That, like, it's a really efficient way of playing to maximize the amount of time that you are outside dealing damage and minimize the amount of time that you're able to take damage without dealing damage yourself. So that thing there is actually a very simple thing to do, but it takes learning the attack patterns and how, like, the shots per second and when to peek in and out of cover, right? She's playing this position here. She's staying on the same height as the enemies on height, because if she attacks in a straight line, it will go in a straight line through the enemies, hitting multiple targets at once, right? If she plays higher than them, it's not going to be good. It's going to go through and not hit enemies at the back. If she plays lower than them, it's also not going to be good. She needs to play on the same angle as they are to be able to hit multiple targets at once. So that's really interesting. There we go. See that how she's playing level? She's at the same height as these enemies, because that makes sure that her attack stays going through the same path to hit multiple targets. And once again, that was a really good use of her abilities there. She's on a slope again, it's going downhill, and she's making sure that her attacks are angled in the exact same way to hit multiple targets going down that hill. She's the way that she's focusing her aim is really smart, actually. Really smart. We've got a nice stack of players here. We've got her ult as well. I wonder if she's going to pop it. So she just popped her E, which obviously increases her damage. But the first time she pops it, it does a bit of damage as well to everyone in the radius. So that, combined with her right click, was able to kill Dr. Strange there. A nice burst of damage. She's backing out to make sure that Winter Soldier doesn't hit his ult on her. Pretty smart. Just going to have to back out and regroup now. So, you know, good positioning there. Once again, always playing around cover, playing within the radius of her team for the most part. You know, she's not going out alone. She's not flanking. She actually has really slow movement. Storm does, so there's no way to flank with Storm. You actually move really slowly. So here comes the other Storm ult here. Uses her E to do a burst of damage there again. Here comes her ultimate. Waits for the Lunar Snow ult here. And then pops it just as it ends. Oh, wow. Just cleaned up all the supports. And there it is. So that was a well-timed ultimate straight after the Lunar Snow ult. If the supports don't have their ultimate up, it's just an insta-kill. It is literally, you are guaranteed to get killed as long as you activate it within, like, the radius of the support. Make sure that they're in the center of the ultimate. They'll die. They'll die. It's incredibly strong. Pressure on the Doctor Strange. Her E ability, when activated in damage mode, will of course do damage to Doctor Strange, even if he has his shield up, which is quite nice. That was a good ult. So she's now going to have to try and reposition. Still trying to do damage here. This is a brave choice. Yeah. I mean, that was only going to go one of two ways, but they're going to need to reset anyway, so her dying there is not a massive deal. She could have maybe tried to get away, but, you know, not the end of the world. Okay, so the Storm is coming back in. 19 final hits. She has the most amount of final hits in the game, the highest amount of damage, Pretty impressive stuff. And she has her ult again. So the great thing about when your attack goes through multiple targets at once is you stack up damage very fast, which means you get your ultimate quicker, just like you would with Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight just gets tons of damage every game and always has his ult. Storm is much the same. So that's very cool to see. She's playing on the left side here because of the way the map is set up. So the way she's peeking is a little bit different to normal. She can't peek out. She sort of has to hold that angle and wait for the enemies to come into her line of sight instead. Otherwise, if she peeked out, she'd be way overexposed. She's now got her ult. She's waiting for a flanking opportunity here. Really interesting. So the only time that she can actually flank is with her ult because she's, you know, has a large amount of health and high movement. So I'm going to... Very interesting to see what kind of play she's going to make here. She's obviously waiting. Looks like she didn't use her ult. I'm guessing it, maybe she's waiting to see if the supports use it. Use their ults in the enemy team first. We'll see. Okay. The invisible woman ults come down. Nemo ult. Okay. We go. All of the ults are coming down now, so this is our chance to strike. They don't even know that she's here. That's crazy. What's going on? Trying to deal damage where she can. It's a little bit hard to make picks here, I guess. There we go. Here's the ult. So, yes, it's going to be big. Oh, no. The Lunar Snow ult is available. That would have been huge otherwise. Wow. It's just a bit of a bottleneck. Just trying to welly as much damage down as possible, really. Not much to say about this particular moment. Nice hit there. She used her right click. The right click is a real nice, because it's a hit scan, it's a real nice way to just secure kills, you know? Probably one of the few hit scan abilities, so really nice. Managed to dodge out of the way of that Namor ult. Here comes the ult again. She's going to activate it immediately. Her ult should be down. Invisible Woman has hers, though. Managed to help secure one kill there, though. 10 seconds left here. How do they get out of this situation? This looks like a very difficult one to win. Teammates just popped their Mantis and Lunar Snow ult, so that's going to give them a bit more room to breathe. Puts pressure on the Lunar Snow. Managed to kill them. There we go. That's how they got into this area then. Nice use of the support ults there. So look how she's in movement mode now. You know? She's in movement mode. And that, as soon as she's getting to attack again, she goes straight back into attack mode. So every chance she can use movement mode, she is using it. But majority of the time, if she's shooting, she's in attack mode, which makes sense. Nice little angle here. Look at how she can peek out of cover here. She can just about show her head every time she wants to shoot. And then we've got the same situation she was doing earlier where she shoots, goes behind cover, shoots, goes behind cover. And the very interesting thing about the cover she's using here is see-through, right? So she can see exactly what she's shooting. That's kind of cheeky. Here comes an ult to the back lines. Lunar Snow pops her ult. Oh, the Namor ult. Ooh, that was good. Okay. Now this Lunar Snow is dead, basically, since this ult comes down. That's a great ult combo there. And that sends them in. I don't think they're going to be able to stop them here. So we're going to go into overtime with the Storm having 46,000 damage, 44 eliminations, 25 final hits. Absolutely incredible stuff. One final team fight here. She's putting pressure on the Jeff. Lunar Snow ult comes down. Just a nice cleanup. Invisible Woman ult. That's a good use of the ult there. She's also got her ultimate again. It's incredible how often she gets her ult because she's just farming damage like crazy. Oh, yeah. The Punisher can't do anything. He's screwed. Tries to make it to Jeff the Shark, but it runs out before she gets there. No problem. Managed to deal a lot of damage to kill him. picking up so much damage here and just picking up all the squishies, basically. It's incredible. He did die there. I'm pretty sure the team will be able to clean up because they're mostly dead at this point. Another Namor ult comes down. Very interesting to see just how often a lot of these high skill players have that ult available. It just goes to show, like, if you're not doing anything in the game, just shoot something, you know? Shoot something to deal damage to get your ult. You don't necessarily need to always get kills, but if you do more damage, you get your ult, and then you can make meaningful changes to the flow of gameplay, you know? That kills the support. Nice. Doctor Strange ult. Managed to get shut down, though. Really valiant attempt from the enemy team, honestly, to try and stop this push. This is crazy. You know what's really crazy, right? Everyone in this Radius is also getting a damage boost. All of our teammates getting a damage boost here, so that's quite impressive. Alright, we're moving into the next overtime here. They're now on defense, so this is going to be interesting. So they're portaling again. Here it comes down. Playing the same sort of angles. You know, so we learned how she picks cover. She never flies around in the sky. She's always on the ground with teammates. And she's always trying to maximize the time she has spent behind cover so she can reduce damage. And also always angles her attacks to be able to pierce multiple targets, right? She's always trying to think about that, which I think is really, really smart. She is not flying around all over the place. She's very rarely above the enemies. She's always in line with them. And of course, in the radius of the teammates as well, because that does allow them to do more boosted damage for her entire team. You can see it here. It's just a really, really effective way. I mean, I've said it a million times at this point, but just play positioning like this, and you'll do well with Storm. Here comes another ult. Cloak and Dagger just popped their ult, so that gives her a window to actually use it here. Here it comes. So as soon as the Cloak and Dagger stuff's cleared up, she goes into the backline again, deals with the supports, gets them off of the point. Now just needs to kill Hawkeye, and that will be them sorted. There it is. Doctor Strange as well. That's them going into overtime, 2 on the attacking side now. So, yeah, I mean, you can see exactly how playing Storm should work, you know? It's all about angles, holding corners carefully, and being there with the team. It's not about flying out in the open. It's actually a quite simple play style. Just to master it, it requires understanding the timings of the attacks, you know, when to pick cover, and maximizing the use of her abilities. Once again, here's a great example of how she's going higher than the enemies here, because it's on a downward slope, right? I just think that's really smart. I wouldn't have thought about doing that myself. She's going just a little bit higher than she usually would to be able to angle her attacks, right? Really, really smart. That there. You just think about the world in angles, and think about how your attack will travel through the air. And, you know, having that perspective when playing Storm is going to help. Like, not just thinking about what your attack is going to do to the first person you're shooting. How is it going to travel based on the angle you're shooting and the angle that your enemies are? And thinking like that will help a lot in dealing more damage and securing more kills. There it is, pushing them off the zone. They don't have far to go after capturing this to win the game. She's now on 60 eliminations, 34 final hits, more than double anyone else on the enemy team. 56,000 damage. That's absolutely crazy work, I must say. So let's see exactly what happens now. Once again, holding cover from the left side, picking to the right, because, you know, it's a third-person shooter game. It's always what works best. Managed to dodge the Doctor Strange ult. Responding ult comes from the teammate. Let's clean up here. And she's going to wait for the Mantis Snow ults to end, and then she activates it. So you don't have to activate the ult. Nice. You don't have to activate the ult immediately. on Storm, you have a small time, just like Jeff the Sharks. So she waited for the healing ults to end first, and then did it, which was a really smart play. So there we go. You can check out this creator in the description. I think we learned some very interesting things about Storm today. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.